Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome inside the United Center here in Chicago. The St. Louis Blues here this evening taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. It is game number 80 on the regular season, and what an opportunity facing the St. Louis Blues tonight. The St. Louis Blues currently sitting in third place in the Central Division. That's because the Nashville Predators won last night. The Winnipeg Jets lost last night. Those two teams are idle, and the St. Louis Blues staring down two very big points in the Central Division. 2 points that at the end of the night could see the Blues, the Jets, and the Predators all sitting atop the Central Division with a total of 96 points. What a ride this could be. All three teams are going to be playing tomorrow night, and then all three teams will be playing on Saturday night to determine the winner of the Central Division, and of course who also may finish in second place and grab that valuable home ice advantage. But tonight, you've got to take care of business here at the United Center. It's the Blues and Blackhawks as we welcome you into Game Day Live, and joining us is St. Louis Post-Dispatch beat writer Jim Thomas. You know, you were on the inaugural Game Day Live, and I think it was in Pittsburgh last year.
First off, I'd like to say I'm the less handsome version of Joey Vitale. So, yes, I was. I was on my very first regular season game on the beat, Pittsburgh, and now here I am. We're kind of bookending these two seasons.
I like the way we're doing it. Listen, before we want to talk about this game just a little bit, as the Blues are going to play the Blackhawks. These two teams haven't seen each other, Jim, in quite a while. They played three times in the first 10 games of the season. That was by October 27th. So before you were even dressing up for Halloween, 3 of these games were gone, and then they played one more time in early November. So it'll be a different feel here with Chicago being officially eliminated from the playoffs and the Blues playing much better hockey.
It's a totally different Blues team. It's a shame that Chicago couldn't be still alive, and the Blues fans would like the pleasure of knocking the dreaded Blackhawks out of the playoffs. But you're right. All 4 previous games in the series were with Mike Yeo as head coach, and the Blues had struggles, and they were struggling against everybody back then. But only one win, a big one, 7-3, but 2 excruciating overtime losses, and then a 1-0 shutout right here when Jake Allen faced 50 shots. So they've had some troubles against him. Tays, Kane, and DeBrincat, 9 goals in those 4 games. So that's obviously the key to stopping the Blackhawks, as it is every time you play the guys.
Yeah, and Vladimir Tarasenko has 4 goals in the series as well, leading the Blues in that department. So as we get into this one tonight, we've got the Blues and the Blackhawks along those lines. Now, I'd expect Jake Allen to be back in between the pipes here today. He's played all 4 games against Chicago this season. And then you look at getting Jordan Binnington ready over the next 2 games to begin the playoffs, barring all health scenarios being what it is. But I wanted to talk to you today about the opportunities that the St. Louis Blues have. The writers and the writer parts of the Writers Association, they vote for some of the major awards. It is the Broadcasters Association that puts the ballots in for Coach of the Year. But you guys have the votes on the Rookies of the Year, the Selke trophies. And Jordan Binnington, who has now won the Rookie of the Month twice, including for the month of March, Jordan Binnington has climbed his way into that discussion. He'll hit the 30-game plateau by the time it's all said and done. How is that viewed from a voter standpoint on whether or not Jordan Binnington has that legit shot to be a finalist for the Calder?
Well, the only thing that you can say against him is that he's played only half the season, but he's played a lot of games in that half a season, and it's been historic. I mean, it seems like every other game he's setting or tying some kind of franchise record or some kind of league record for a rookie. And, Pettersson at Vancouver, early in the season, he was like the odds-on favorite. He hasn't done much lately. I think he's got only like 1 goal in his last 20 games. So will the voters be aware of that? I'd be very surprised if Binnington isn't among the 3 finalists. Is he going to win the thing? I don't know.
Now, on the flip side, while it is typically a very reputation-based award, now that doesn't mean that whoever won it didn't deserve it, but the Selke Trophy is one that once you've won it, you seem to stay in the conversation like Bergeron in Boston has. However, surprisingly enough, Ryan O'Reilly really hasn't received that many votes over the years for a Selke Trophy. This year, he's got to be a finalist. He's had an amazing season.
Yeah. And I think he should be, if not the favorite, he certainly should be right up there because the season he's had, I think he's gotten more attention, too, because of the Blues resurgence. He's been there throughout the whole season for St. Louis. And the Selke, at least in theory, is supposed to be for the best defensive forward. And you look at what he's done defensively. The Blues as a team, I believe, are 5th now. They've climbed all the way up to 5th in terms of defense goals allowed. He plays plenty of penalty kill minutes. The Blues have a top 10 PK team. So he checks all the boxes for the Selke. And, oh, by the way, he's closing in on 80 points.
I got to tell you, pigskin to pucks, man, you've got it covered.
We know just enough this year to be dangerous. That's about it. Yeah.
Folks, that's Jim Thomas of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, terrific beat writer. 30 years with the Post?
I wish it was just 30. This is my 44th year.
44th by the time you got it going. 44th. Yeah. You're that young, huh?
Yeah, I am. I'm a young pup.
That's pretty good. Jim Thomas of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch joining us here for Game Day Live, giving you a little insight on how the writers and the voters may be thinking for the Calder Trophy and the Selke Trophy as well. We've got Blues and Blackhawks. It's a 7 o'clock game. On the TV side, it's on the NBC Sports Network. Doc Emmerich will have the call on that side. Joe Vitale and I will have you covered on the radio side. The game on Y98 on the FM dial. Blues and Blackhawks tonight. Again, then the Blues home for the final 2 games. Tickets for those final 2 games, get them at stlouisblues.com/tickets. That's also where you go to find out how you get playoff tickets. Playoffs starting next week in the National Hockey League. And, of course, the Blues are in. We just haven't determined yet whether or not they will finish 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in the Central Division. Enjoy the game tonight. Blues and Blackhawks face off just after 7 o'clock.